Okay. Welcome everyone. Here we are. About to rip into another webinar here. Just waiting for a few people to roll in there to the webinar. And how are you going there, Wade? Are you all good?
Yep, I'm good.
Ready to go? Good stuff. All right, so we're going to get started. So Megan was unavailable to make it today, unless she does a surprise appearance halfway through the webinar. So we're going to get things started. Welcome everyone. We're talking today about implementing a world-class sales process in your business. My name is Glenn Hayworth. I'm joined by Wade Stewart. Big shout out to Kiama Council and Kiama Business Chamber for making these events possible. We've had some great feedback for these webinars, particularly for members of the local community here in Kiama, and all the craziness that's been happening the last 6 months or so. We've been finding that we've got some really good feedback, and a lot of you guys are getting some good value out of these webinars. So really excited to be able to provide another webinar today. This one is on implementing a world-class sales process in your business. Now, today, you have the opportunity, if you'd like to send through some chats, if you want to ask some questions, we can look at those towards the end of the webinar. So if you've got any questions, just put them in the chat box there and we can look at those at the end. So feel free to ask questions in the chats and we can go through those at the end of the Q&A. All right, so implementing a world-class sales process in your business. First of all, who am I? You probably already know Glenn Hayworth from Hayworth Guitars and founder of Resolve Business Coaching. So Hayworth Guitars are my retail business, and we have a couple of locations, an online e-commerce store, plus we have music schools in a couple of locations as well, and now I run Resolve Business Coaching as well here in Kiama. And Wade Stewart is joining me today. He's from Atmosphere Productions. He's a digital marketing expert and also runs a great video production company here in Kiama too. So great to have him on board as well. So getting into this webinar, what's in it for you today? Today we're going to cover the 5-step sales process. This is a process that I use in my business. It's also, look, I haven't reinvented the wheel here with this process. I've actually adapted different bits and pieces from this process from different learnings along the way in business and built it into my experience to develop this 5-step sales process. A very valuable tool when you're taking your customers through the buying experience. We're going to talk about incentivizing your team and when to incentivize your team, how to incentivize your team. And we're also going to talk about bringing in the human element to your online store as well. So a couple of good things to cover today. Lots of value jam-packed in this webinar. So let's rip in. We're going to start this 5-step sales process. So what is the 5-step sales process? It's the process of guiding potential customers through their customer journey in the most effective and efficient way possible. It's not a reinvention of the wheel, as I said. It's developed and refined from my experience in sales, and you can do it in your own style, but don't miss a step. So look, I want to start by saying that sales can often seem like a negative term sometimes. It's like someone's trying to sell us something, right? But really, all good sales is clearly identifying what someone's looking for and matching what they're looking for with something that you can offer. That's all it is. It's really like trying to help someone through their customer journey from the problem they're experiencing to a solution. This isn't about trying to teach people to sell something to someone that isn't a right fit. It's about finding the right fit for your customers. And if you can find the right fit for your customers, then there's no need for sales really. It's finding the right fit, matching it with a solution for your customers. So really it's about just helping your customers to solve their problem, to provide a solution to their problem. And that's what we're talking about today. So this isn't about any slick methods trying to sell people stuff they don't need. This is about matching up what people are looking for with something that you can provide. So why is a sales process needed? Well, look, Wade and I talk about this quite a bit, that traffic is useless without conversion. What do I mean by traffic? Well, I mean, if you've got a website, there's no point sending traffic to that website, sending potential customers to your website if it doesn't convert that traffic into customers or into potential customers by joining a mailing list. There's no point having a physical shop front, having customers come in, sending a lot of customers to your store if people aren't walking out with some products, right? So this is a really important step in the sales in the process, because a lot of the time people are looking for more leads and more potential customers that come into their business. But if you don't have a good sales process in place, then those potential leads won't turn into customers, right? So this is why a sales process is needed. And it's also about making sure we don't miss out on the lifetime value of our customers. See, a lot of the time we might miss an opportunity with our customer. If this sales process isn't in place, we might not just miss that one opportunity with that customer, but in the example that I'll use at Hayward Guitars, a lot of our customers that come to see us are actually coming to see us over and over again over the customer lifetime. So it takes it from, look, if someone walks out and we did a terrible job trying to find what they were looking for and they walk out, well, we haven't just missed the opportunity for that one instance, that one purchase that customer could have made, but we've missed out on the lifetime value of that customer. So we have customers who have been seeing us since we were in Kiama Downs back in the late 90s, right? Who are still loyal customers today. So it's about making the most of the lifetime value of each of these customers. It's also why a sales process is needed. A lot of the time we need to learn how to handle the word no, right? This is what kind of stops a lot of people from venturing into sales and actually, asking, if their customers to proceed with the sale, is because we're afraid of getting told the word no, right? So having a good sales process in place can actually help us overcome that. And this is all about implementing a systemized process where you can train your staff, where you can train other people to do the same process so you can get a consistent result every time. That's why it's needed. So if we start with the 5-step sales process, the first step I want to talk about is rapport. This is probably a no-brainer to a lot of us, right? You probably think, oh, I've heard this before. I know I need to build rapport with people, right? But it's the step that a lot of people miss. And I'm guilty of it too, because it happens in my business too often, where someone will walk in to our guitar store and staff will come up straight away and say, do you need a hand, right? I hate those words, do you need a hand? Because every time you've been in a shop or, shopping environment and someone comes up, you just walked in the store, someone comes up, do you need a hand? What's the most common answer? The most common answer is no, I'm just looking, right? That is the most common answer, and it happens all too often. It's because we've missed this step, right? We've missed the step where we actually have a chance to just find out a little bit about this customer, what brings them to the store, what they're interested in, what their interests are, what they're looking at. This is the step that needs the most attention. It's building rapport. And it's something that we do, we've been doing since we were kids. We do naturally. Building rapport is something that comes to us naturally. It's how we make friends, right? It's how we built up, these friendship circles over the years. We all know how to do it. It's just a matter of just bringing it to the conscious mind and making sure that we're doing it in this process. So when someone comes in touch with our business, whether it be walking into our store, an online inquiry, via email, a phone call, whatever it is, it's very important to have this as the first step, build rapport. So how do we do it? As I said, we've been doing this since we were kids. It's how we make friends. Find something in common, right? Find something that you guys can relate on. It might be similar interests that you have. It might be, so, whereabouts are you from? Oh, do you know this person? Or yeah, I've been there before. It's a beautiful place. Or things in common help to boost that relationship to a new level. Our name is the most important word in the human language, right? If you can learn your potential customer's name and then use it in the conversation, it takes the relationship to a whole nother level. That's how we build rapport, right? Shaking hands. I know this isn't the time where we're shaking hands, we're bumping elbows or whatever you're doing, but shaking hands, providing some sort of physical contact is a way to build rapport as well. And matching and mirroring. Look, matching and mirroring is the old NLP, neuro-linguistic programming technique. They've been teaching for a long time. In my studies as well, I've learned about it. But look, matching people's tonality, their language, their terminology, their gestures, things like that. Not over exaggerating, but if someone is using a certain type of language, if they're using a language such as they might say, look, I want to find a guitar that feels right to me. It has to really feel right. Well, then that's the language that we want to use in that conversation as well. We want to use the same kind of language that they're using, the same kind of terminology, which helps to speak to them. It helps to build that rapport as well. So how do we build rapport? We find things in common, right? We talk about, similar interests that we might have, things in common, learn their name and use it. And how do we remember people's names? A good tip to remember people's names is if I meet someone and they say, "G'day, my name's Steve," and instantly I think Steve, and I picture someone in my mind who I know who is also called Steve, right? And I get that person's face. I think of Steve Norris from The Accountants right across the road here, right? I picture his face in my mind. Every time I see that customer, I'm talking to that customer, I picture Steve's face, that I'm going to relate, because our mind relates, remembers things by images best, right? These people who win memory competitions, they relate things to images, right? So you can picture someone else with that same name, picture their face, and when you see that person, you think of them, and it helps you remember the name. The other thing to do is repeat their name in the conversation. As soon as you learn someone's name, make sure you use it again in the conversation. And if you get the opportunity, when you finish dealing with that person, write their name down. If you get a chance to write their name down, if you're on the phone, write their name down, so that you remember it and reinforces it. So some good tips there on building rapport. As I said, I'm sure we all know how to do this. We've been doing it ever since we were kids, but it's just good to remember to bring this into the process. It's the first thing that we do. So identify need. So once we've built some rapport, this is the thing too, is, as I said, I hate it when people ask, do you need a hand, right? It's a close-ended question. It usually gets a response, no, I'm just looking, right? But rather, we start with some different questions. We start with some more open-ended questions, such as, what are we looking at today? What brings you to the store? How can I help? I mean, in the business coaching, when I get inquiries, I'll often ask, so what made you want to, reach out and inquire about business coaching? Just to start a discussion. And if you can listen to them, this is the part where we just really need to listen to our potential customers. Listen to them, listen to what their needs are, listen to what they're looking for by asking these questions. So rather than asking, do you need a hand? It's more, okay, so what are we looking at today? What brings you in today? How can I help today? What made you want to reach out to me? Just to ask those kind of open-ended questions. And it helps you to identify their pain points. So what might be the core pain point that they're experiencing, the problem that needs to be solved. And if you can be really specific about what problem needs to be solved with your potential customers, and clearly identify that and actually repeat that back to them. Like if they were to say, look, I'm looking for in the guitar example, I'm looking for a guitar. I've got small hands. It needs to have quite a narrow neck. I've tried guitars before. I find them difficult to play. I need a guitar with a narrow neck that's easy to play. And if I can repeat that back to them and say, look, so it sounds like we might need to get a guitar, maybe a slightly shorter scale length with maybe a good action where the strings are nice and close to the fretboard and a smaller neck to make it easy to play, then that's going to work for you. Does that sound right? So repeating it back to them helps, reinforce. It helps to clearly identify the problem, and it helps to show the customer that you're listening to them, right? That you understand. It's going to make them say, this guy gets me. This guy understands me. He understands what I'm all about. He understands my problem that I'm experiencing. He can help, right? Or he or she can help. Okay, so first of all, we've got build rapport. Second, we've got identify needs. So why did they reach out to you? Why are they getting in touch with you? Why are they in your business? Why did they send that email? Why did they call you up? Identify needs. So what can I do for you? What brings you to the store? What made you want to reach out? So identifying a need and clearly stating that back to them. Number 3 is matching their need with a product or service, right? So now we've got the rapport there. We know each other. We're comfortable. Now we've clearly identified what they're looking for. Now it's our job to match what we offer with what they're looking for, right? It's the next step. It's a no-brainer. So providing a solution to their problem. And then offering no more than 3 options. I'll bring it back to the guitar example. Someone says, here's what I'm looking for. This is my budget. This is the style of guitar I'm looking for. We'll often bring out 1, 2, at the most 3 options, because I find that any more than 3 options, we start to confuse, right? We start to get overwhelmed. We start to create that confusion. And if you confuse, you lose, right? So we want to just narrow it down to just a couple of options that they can try, that you can really go deep on. So matching their problem with what they're looking for with a solution. Now, sometimes you might not be able to offer a solution. It might be something that you don't offer. It might be something that, look, we don't do that service. We don't provide that. You might need to refer them on to someone else. But if this is happening repeatedly, if you're constantly getting asked for something which you aren't offering, then you need to consider offering that in your business. I'll give you an example. Guitar lessons. We got asked over and over again, probably 15, 20 times a day consistently for 10 years, do you do guitar lessons? You think I would have come up with this sooner, right? We got asked so many times. And we'd say, no, we don't do guitar lessons. You can see this person or this person, you know, they'll hook you up. But eventually I had to say, look, this is ridiculous. We're getting asked by our customers for something that we aren't offering. And we're providing a disservice to our customers by not offering this service for them. So we need to start offering guitar lessons. And so that was the launch. That was the starting point of the Hayworth Music School, right? That was about 5-6 years ago now. But we got asked so many times if we did this that it became a no-brainer to start offering that. So if you're getting asked for something over and over again that you have to keep referring on to someone else or sending them away, then it might be worth considering offering that in your business as an extra potential revenue stream. Demonstrating the value. Okay, so we've got build rapport. We've got identify a need. What are they looking for? Clearly understand what they're looking for, matching that need with what you have, and then demonstrating the value. So now we know, right? We know what they're looking for. We've provided some solutions, and now we need to demonstrate the value. So why is this product or service, how is it going to make their life better? Right? And clearly explaining the value, right? Now, we haven't talked about price yet, notice. We haven't talked about how much this thing is. We haven't talked about what the cost is yet. First of all, we need to go into the value and how it's going to show them how it's going to change their life, how it's going to make their lives better. So demonstrate the value. How does this product service make their life better? What are the key features that you need to talk about? What will you provide for them if it's a service role? And what is your compelling offer, right? Let's go into the guitar example again. So, look, if someone's we find out what they're looking for, the type of guitar, we provide a solution. Here's this guitar. We feel like this is going to meet the needs. Now I can go into, look, here's what's great about this guitar. It has humbucker pickups. It has 24 frets. It has a 25.5-inch scale. That's right. All the lingo, the good things about this guitar, why we love it, its key features. This is what I want to talk about, the value. It's made in the USA. It's, you know, so I'm going to talk about the value of the product or service, but then I'm also going to talk about the value of dealing with us as the business. Like, you could get this guitar from any other guitar store in the country, basically. So why would you deal with us? So I'm going to let them know that our compelling offer, and our compelling offer is, did you know that you get 2 free services with this guitar over the next 12 months? So you can bring it back in as many times as you need to. Usually that's 2 times over the next 12 months, and we'll set it up for you for free. We'll keep it playing nice. We'll make sure the action's nice and low, the neck's straight. So just to keep it playing nice for you. And how does it feel now? If you want us to change anything now, we can put it on the workbench now and adjust the action for you now and make sure it's playing good now as well. So look, I'm telling them what's valuable about the product, but I'm also telling them why it's value. We're selling the value of dealing with us as a business as well. So they can see the value of the product, but they can also see the value of dealing with us as a business and what they get out of that. So demonstrating the value, let them know all the good things they get, how this is going to make their life better, right? If you're in the service business, you know, with the coaching, for example, I'll go into, you know, here's how the coaching works. Here's what you get in the packages. Here's how many sessions that you get. Here's the, you know, the workbook that you get and everything else. So you can just clearly describe all the value and just stack the value that you give in this step. So this is really, really key in demonstrating the value that they get. How is it going to make their lives better? So we've got build rapport with our customers, right? We've got identify a need. What are they looking for? Matching what they're looking for with the product or service, and demonstrating the value. How is that going to make their life better? Why is this a great fit for them? You know, what are the key features of this product? And what is maybe your compelling offer? Then we get to number 5. So step 5 is ask, right? Ask. How does that sound to you? Where do you think we should go from here? Do you want to take it today? How would you like to pay for it? This is a step where 90% of salespeople don't do this. People are often afraid to ask the question, right? But there's an old saying, don't ask, don't get, right? If you don't ask, then it doesn't open up the opportunity to get feedback on what the customer thinks, right? Now, there is a pushy way to ask, which I don't agree with. You know, asking someone straight up, how would you like to pay for it, is a way of asking. And for me, that's a little bit over the top. It's a little bit pushy. That's not my style. I prefer to ask questions like, well, look, how does that sound to you? What do you think? Do you think you want to grab it today? Or, you know, so asking in your own way, but doing it in your own style, but just making sure you don't miss this step. So another good way to ask is, look, so where do you think we should go from here? What's the next step? And asking them, putting the ball back in their court. What do you think? Now, this does a couple of things. Number 1, they might say, yep, perfect for me. Let's go, let's do it. Number 2 is you might be able to get feedback now. They might say, look, it's nice, but does it come in this color? What about the price? Can we talk about the price? And, you know, so it's nice, but maybe they want something different. Maybe they want something, they want the other option, they want to try something else, or what about the setup? Can I get a different setup on this one? So asking the question is really important to either get feedback or, you know, sometimes customers need to be led through the process, and they won't always say, yep, I'll grab it, unless we ask the question, look, did you want to grab it today? How does that sound? Where do you think we should go from here? So it gives an opportunity to give feedback, and also the opportunity, if they want to make a purchase, they can do that. So we've got build rapport, identify a need, match the need to the product or service, demonstrate the value, and ask if they'd like to proceed, where to from here. So a couple of bonus steps in this process. That's the 5 steps in a nutshell, but this can often come up, overcoming objections. So you might get someone say, well, look, it's good, but here's my feedback. Here's what I need. So it's learning how to overcome this step. So look, if it's not the right fit, if the customer says, look, this isn't really what I was looking for, I was more looking for this, then we need to go back in the sales process to the step where we clearly identify, you know, what they're looking for and matching that to the product. We need to just go back to that step and say, all right, maybe I got this wrong. Maybe I didn't quite nail what they were looking for. Maybe I need to go back to that and find something else for them. So if it's not the right fit, we can go back. If it's the right fit, but they're still unsure, then have you told them enough benefits? Have you clearly showed them how it's going to benefit them? So maybe you need to go back to demonstrating the value step. And I put there, look, if there's enough value, the customer's going to proceed, right? If there's enough value, if you can clearly see that this is what the customer is looking for, and you've matched up exactly what they're looking for with what you have, and you've demonstrated the value, and they can clearly see the value, then 99% of the time they're going to proceed. So if not, then maybe the value hasn't been demonstrated enough, right? So it's a matter of going back through those steps in the sales process. And the other thing here is a great sales process will often add some add-ons in there too. And look, if you don't do add-ons, and what are add-ons? Well, look, add-ons are potential things that the customer might want as well as the major purchase. So I put there that, look, if you don't offer add-ons, you're actually doing your customers a disservice, right? And it's true. If I didn't know anything about guitars and I walked into a guitar store and said, I want to buy my first guitar, and someone sold me a guitar, but then I get it home and the next day it doesn't sound right, right? It's not playing in tune. What's happening? And then I start Googling, oh, I actually needed to get a tuner with this guitar to be able to tune it. Why didn't those guys at Hayworth bloody sell me a tuner, right? I needed to get a tuner. So I would be annoyed. You know, if I got my guitar home and I found I wasn't playing it because the salesperson didn't tell me that, look, if you get a guitar stand and you keep your guitar in a stand in the living room or in the lounge room or somewhere you're going to walk past it every single day, you're actually going to play that guitar more, and it's going to develop your skills as a guitar player much, 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 like probably 10 times faster than if you packed it away and left it under your bed. So I highly recommend just getting a stand to keep it on. Then if I didn't get that, someone tell me that, and I got it home and I thought, where am I going to put this guitar? Like, I'm going to lean it up against the wall. Why didn't someone tell me that I needed a guitar stand, right? So if you're not offering add-ons, then you're actually doing your customers a disservice. It's what I tell my guys all the time. Look, don't let someone get something home and then realize they should have got something else with it, right? So it's actually an obligation for us to look after our customers and make sure they know that, look, with it, not in a pushy way, but did you know that that if you get a tuner, it's going to help you tune the guitar so you can tune it at home yourself? Did you know that if you get a stand, that you're more likely to play your guitar and it's going to provide a safe place to keep your guitar where it's not going to get damaged? So offering these things as add-ons. An example I use there is, would you like fries with that, right? It's the old McDonald's thing. I know, you know, we've been asked it a million times, but it works. And there's a reason that they do, is because it's so important to their business model that it increases the average sale price in their business when they get asked if you'd like fries with that. So really important step. Now, the best time to ask is often as soon as they decide. So, you know, as soon as they said, yep, I'll grab it, this is right for me, then that's the best time to say, okay, look, I don't want to sound like a salesperson, but we have these tuners. If you want to grab a tuner, you know, the $20 means you can tune it at home, and it makes your life a whole lot easier, you know, done. That's the time to ask. So offering these things, as you know, that's the physical product business, but you might have in your business, if it's a service, if you're in the service industry, some extra add-ons, maybe potential products that you bring in as well. You know, like if you're a PT, maybe there's some supplements there that they need as well to accompany that. Maybe there's a workbook they need to accompany it, whatever it is, you know, but offering those things as add-ons is a key part there. Okay, so just giving you guys a quick example. I've used the guitar store as an example. If someone comes into the store, let's rehash. This is to summarize the 5-step process. If someone comes in and you know, we were to go up to them straight away and say, do you need a hand? Then most of the time they're going to say, no, I'm just looking, right? But, and this has happened multiple times before, where someone's walked into the store, one of my guys has gone up and said, do you need a hand? They say, no, I'm just looking. But I'll wait until they get to the back of the shop. Man, I'm working on a guitar at the back of the shop. And then I'll just start a conversation. How you going today? What are you up to? Checking out some guitars? Yeah, great. And just start a regular conversation with them. And then 9 times out of 10, I guarantee they'll actually come up to me and say, hey, you know what, while we're talking, I did actually want to check out this guitar. Can you tell me more about it? Or actually, I found this online on your website. Can you tell me more about this? So even though they already said, right, as soon as they walked in, no, I'm just looking, they actually are looking for something. Everyone who comes in touch with your business is looking for something. But if that rapport isn't there, if we haven't gone to the effort of just breaking the ice and establishing trust and making them feel comfortable, then they're not going to be honest with what they're looking for. They're going to put up a wall, right? So giving people a chance to, you know, to build that rapport with you by connecting with them on a human level, finding those things in common, using their name, listening to them, you know, get them to feel comfortable in your business, with your business, and then you can start to go through the rest of the process. So then we can ask questions. So, you know, what are you looking for? Identify a need, match the need with what we have, and demonstrate the value. How is this going to make their life better? And then asking, look, is that a good fit for you? Does that feel right to you? Does that sound right to you? And then we talked about overcoming the objections and the add-ons in the process as well. So that in a nutshell is the 5-step process. Now, I want to go into your sales team. So are great salespeople found, or are they trained? Tony Robbins talks about this a lot. Are great salespeople found, or are they trained? Well, great salespeople are found and then trained, right? So it's about finding the right fit, but it's continuing to train them through the process as we go. So we find the right people, but then we continue to train them. Why do we train? Well, it increases consistency. It's how we achieve maximum results out of our team. It helps our team to create ownership, and it will give you some increased results. There's some increased rewards in the sales process. So important to train our team. And how do we do that? Use this 5-step process. This is a great start, taking them through your sales process. We talk about this a lot in our business. Train them on your products and services. Make sure they're confident in knowing why your products and services are a no-brainer, right? Make sure they can see the value, because if they can't see the value, they can't sell the value. They have to be able to see the value in what you offer. Make sure they know about your compelling offers and why it's a no-brainer for your customers. When do we do it? Look, I find with my team, we go in first thing in the morning. A lot of mornings, we'll have a toolbox talk, and we'll just chat about, what's happening that day. We'll talk about what to focus on that day. There might be some new products that have arrived in the store. So we'll say, all right, look, we just got these guitars in. Make sure people know that these things have arrived. Make sure we know that, these things are great. They've just arrived. Here's what's good about them. So making sure that your team knows, everything about your product and service and what's happening, what's current, what the focus is for that day is really important. So I find first thing in the morning is great. And creating incentives. Another example here with the guitar side of things is I remind my guys all the time to talk about the music school, making sure people know about the music school, right? Making sure they know that, look, hey, did you know that we actually do music lessons here? Come and check the rooms out. And to have fun. I mean, we work in a music store, right? We work in a guitar store. It's meant to be fun. So having those chats at the start of the day can be good. Working towards a target. This is something that I found to be quite effective with our team, is making sure they know what the expectations are, making sure that they know, what their target is. It gives them something to aim for. It communicates your expectations, and it helps give them something to focus on, something to aim for. Sometimes you might do a group target, or you might do an individual target for your team. If you do a group target, this can work well to create synergy around the team, create that real camaraderie with the team. We're all working towards a group goal, right? A group target, and you get a group reward for that. And it can help to build leadership. Some people might take more initiative, show more direction to help inspire the team, to help encourage the team. So it can be good to highlight the leaders in your team there. Whereas an individual target, you can do an individual target for each salesperson. It can be like a friendly competition, going as well, but it can kind of create conflict. Some of the guys might be like, hey, that was my sale that person came in to get. So it needs to go under my name. It can create a little bit of conflict. So it's something to be mindful of if you have individual targets, that the guys might be a little bit protective about, which sale goes to who. So this is where trying different approaches for your business can be good. Group target can work sometimes. The individual target can work sometimes. Sometimes use them both, but whatever works for you in your business. So which one suits you? Group target or an individual target? Which one do you do in your business? Which one are you willing to try in your business? Both group and individual targets can be an option, but it's important to test and measure. Whichever option you go for, testing and measuring to see which ones get the best results. And just to talk about incentivizing our team, important to consider this. Now, the problem with incentives is that they can be very short term. Wade and I just talked about this with a client just earlier. Providing incentives for your team is great, but if you always provide incentives, then sooner or later your staff will probably start to wonder, okay, he's asked me to do this, what am I going to get for doing that, right? Start to expect something, every time they do something, right? So I kind of try and use these just periodically, not all the time. But I like to reward results. I like to reward my team when they're doing well, when they're putting in an effort too. So I do incentives sometimes, but just be mindful maybe not to do them too much. Otherwise it starts to become more of an expectation from your team. How to incentivize? Look, it's one of the biggest things is just letting your staff know that you appreciate them. I found that just a few encouraging words here and there go a long way with your team to let them know you appreciate them, appreciate the effort they're putting in. We'll often do, take my team out for a dinner every now and then to celebrate if we've, had a nice achievement as like a team camaraderie thing, team building. Monetary rewards, vouchers can be good. Contra deals if you, want to give some of your product or services away to your team as well, can be good. I'll give you guys some examples in a second of some ones that we do. Which one's right for your team? It's up to you which ones you decide to implement, but it's all about testing and measuring and seeing which ones your team respond to the best. I'll give you guys a quick example. A gold star award is something that we brought in the retail side of things in our business by letting the guys know, look, here's your target per day. When you get this target, you actually get a gold star. And the person with the most gold stars that month actually gets a voucher to spend in the store, right? So it's a little incentive, which lets them know, look, here's your target per day. And every time you get that, you get a gold star. And the person with the most gold stars, so it's like a bit of a competition between the staff, the person with the most gold stars for the month actually gets a voucher to use in the store. Another one is music school inquiries. You know, our music school is something I want to make sure our staff are constantly talking to people about. So when they tell someone about the music school, they get an inquiry and they pass it on to our music school girls, who will then phone through and explain some more information. We tally that up as one inquiry. So every time a staff member sends a music school inquiry through to our team, they get an inquiry. And we have an incentive that the first person to get to the most inquiries over a 2-week period gets a little incentive there as well. So that's another little competition that we have. A little bit of fun, but creates a little bit of competition in a fun way, but it also helps communicate our expectations. You know, this is something that is a focus for us. So I want to make sure that all my team are on board with this and they're rallying behind this. So a couple of examples there that might trigger some ideas for you in your business. Okay, the last part of this webinar, I want to talk about the human element. What is the human element? Well, look, I'm talking about your online store. If you have an online store, if you have a website, the human element, bringing in a human touch online, can be one of the biggest things to increase conversion, right, on your website. Many businesses forget this powerful connection online. So many times we jump on a website and it's just seen as an impersonal thing. But if we have an opportunity to talk to someone, right, to have a human interaction with someone, it can help to build that rapport, as we talked about. It can help to establish trust, and it can help to really increase your conversions. So how do we do it? First of all, why do we do it? It takes a potential customer 9.5 website visits before they buy, right? And 70% of customers prefer human interaction over bots. Human interaction builds trust and buyer confidence and increases your conversions, right? It makes sense, right? We like dealing with people. We like knowing we're dealing with a human, so that we know we're not just giving our credit card details to this bot, right? And we don't know what's going to happen. It's nice to deal with a human. So how do we do it? Well, look, one of the biggest things you can do on your website is to incorporate a live chat feature. So a chat feature where people can jump on it straight away and ask questions and actually get responses from one of your team. One of the best things to set up, we've done on our site, is Facebook Messenger chat, where people can jump on there and they can ask questions, and they do it through Facebook Messenger. Example here, you see our website, took a screenshot of this. This little chat pops up, and you can just straight away start chatting with our team on there. Encouraging phone calls is another one to incorporate the human element. So having your phone number, you know, at the top, above the fold, when as soon as people land on the website, they can see the numbers up the top there straight away without having to scroll down and trying to find a contact us section. So having your number up there to encourage people to call and ask questions, that's a really big one for us. So look, this suits our business in the sense that, you know, a lot of the things on our site are actually, you know, high ticket items. We have quite a few guitars there, upwards of $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. So a lot of people aren't always going to jump on and buy that straight away. They want a human connection. So this is where it's really important. If you're offering something that, you know, is maybe not just a spontaneous purchase, right, then incorporating the human element can really help. So we like to encourage people to phone and to talk to our team, to get to know us, so we can really find out what they're looking for. We can take them through the sales process, right? Human to human, rather than straight away on the website there. We find that really helps. Here's an example of having the website up the top there. We've got a 1300 number on the website there where people can call. Using Facebook Messenger, I talked about too, as that live chat feature. People tend to use this over email because it's more casual. People are on Facebook all the time anyway. They can just send through a message straight away. So we find this is a really popular approach, more popular than email at the moment. So look, summarize. Gee, we've covered some ground today. 5-step sales process: building rapport, identifying a need, matching the need to the product or service, demonstrating the value, and asking if they'd like to proceed, how they would like to proceed. Incentivizing your team. You can do group targets, individual targets. What sort of incentives can you offer your team? And incorporating the human element online. So I hope you got a lot of value out of today. Where to from here? I really want to encourage you to take action, whether it be go and implement this process now in your business, the 5-step process. Teach your team this process. Talk to them about the things that you've learned, any light bulb moments that have gone off for you. Go and implement them. Go and talk to your team about them now, and take action. Take some sort of action today. I don't want this webinar to just be a waste where you've gotten all the way through now to the end. Let's make sure you get something out of it and take some action. If you need any further resources, resolvecoaching.com.au, you can jump on there, click on resources. We've got a whole stack of other webinars that we've done, including how to supercharge your Instagram, marketing on Facebook, building a customer database, going live, a whole bunch of other webinars there you can watch for free as well. Or if you want to get in touch with me, send me an email, Glenn with 2 N's at resolvecoaching.com.au. Happy to have a chat, answer any questions if you need to as well, any specific questions. So, Wade, are you there, my man? What is your take on this? Going through this process, what's your feedback on this process so far?
Look, I think coming from the digital and online side of things is that the most important thing is along the lines of the human element. I've had experience a few times with different clients where we tried to introduce bots and tried to introduce like pre-answered questions. And most of the time it actually drove down conversion because people want to reach out and speak with people as well. And and especially now in these times where people are getting more used to doing business online and doing things, over chat and stuff like that too, I'd really encourage having, like a dedicated resource or a really easy way for people to be able to manage these online chats and go through the sales process, but just do it in the text online version of it as opposed to face to face. Yeah,
that's it. I know you're big on that one, and you helped us implement that on our website too. So it's a big step and interaction with, just talking to someone. I prefer that. I know there's some people who don't prefer to talk to someone. They just want to go do their shopping, go through the self-checkout. I actually like to talk to someone, particularly if you're trying to find a solution to a problem. It's good to talk to a human, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, and even recent experience as well is that if you do initiate a chat through like a chat box on the website too, and then it like escalates into an actual phone call, it's that connection too that you're talking to the same person, and it's a much smoother process for the person on the other end. And that human element is so important, and it can be achieved through like the chat as a start point.
Yeah, it can really help to identify, to really go through that sales process and identify what their problem is by hearing them out. Sometimes people land on a site, they don't know what they're looking for until they start talking to someone, and then you can dive into the details of what are you looking for, what problem do you need solved. Let's talk about what your needs are, and then you can help match a solution for them as well.
Yeah, and I think if any of these guys have questions now, either you can chuck them in the chat if you like. If not, you can hit us up later on the Facebook Messenger as well for Resolve Coaching. Yes,
absolutely. So if you have any questions, chuck them in the chat. If not, jump on the website. You take advantage of those free resources we have on the website. Send us an email or send us a message on our Facebook page too. Resolve, facebook.com/Resolve Business Coaching.
So the recording of this webinar, again, will be available through the council's YouTube channel. So we'll send it to Megan as soon as it's ready. And it's also, as with all our other webinars, at resolvecoaching.com.au/webinars.
Yes, on the website there too. There we go. So I hope you guys got a lot of value. Take action on what you learned today. Get in touch if you want to reach out, if you've got any questions. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. We've got another webinar coming up, Wade, talking about resilience in business. It's going to be a really good one.
Very topical at the moment.
Yes. All right. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you soon.